Hi everybody, let's just go for this. Let's just try a vinyl tag. Now, a lot of you go, oh no, another vinyl tag. You might find some of these questions interesting, some of you may want to do it, and if not, hey, I'm having a laugh. Okay, now this is if I were a god vinyl tag. Now you want to say if I was the god, if I was God. But if I was a god vinyl tag. Question number 1. Show a record you would improve or make near perfect in your power by adding or removing a single track. Now, you are your own God, of course you can do it. Nothing is impossible for you. And this is the album I would choose. Lick My Decals Off Baby by Captain Beefheart. One of my favourite albums. But marred, some might say, oh, dangerous talk, by Japan in a Dishpan, where it's an instrument that just flies off with the saxophone. You obviously couldn't play it. It touches though, you hear it, and it's like, oh, you've heard that in Ornette Coleman or something. And you think, oh, is that a touch of Eric Dolphy? No, not really. It's just blowing the horn all over the track. And that track, if you'd have replaced that with lyrics or something, would have been a much better track, and it would make this album an absolute, almost 5-star classic. You are your own God. You can do this. Question 2. Show a record by a musician or composer that you would want to resurrect from the dead. If you can resurrect anyone from the dead, one person, who will it be? Now, I toyed with Hendrix, because I thought, oh, wouldn't that be marvellous? And there were other people that came to mind, Mark Bolan. It'd just be fascinating to see them alive today and to see what they'd be doing today. But in the end, I went with something a little bit more kind of out there. Johann Sebastian Bach. Now, I don't know a huge amount of Bach's music at all, but it fascinates me to think that a giant of the past who is still so influential today could, what would he do today if he was alive today? What kind of music would he do? What would he be exploring? Would he be into electronics and synthesizers? What would he be doing? What kind of compositions would he come up with? I think it'd be a fascinating thing just to see, because we don't have any pictures of these people, any paintings or whatever, but to see them alive and in the flesh. Marvellous. Which record that you own, and you have to own it, because you need to be able to show it, or CD, all of these are records or CDs or whatever, would you obliterate from the face of the earth, erasing all memory that it ever existed, so that nobody in the world will ever have heard of this and will never it would never come into consciousness? Which record do you own that you would do that to? It's a no-brainer for me. This one. So much crap has been spouted about this record, and yes, blah blah, people love it, etc., whatever. Enough is enough. Get rid of it once and for all. You are your own God here. You can do what you like. This is history. It never even came into anyone's consciousness. Goodbye and good riddance. A bit more simple. Show a record which displays something of nature or creation as you created it. So a nice simple one here. I've always been a bit of a sucker for snow scenes, etc. So just a nice, the hills in Yorkshire, the hills in England. I believe that may be the highest pub in England. The snow, the sheep. I was going to show stuff with rain or storms or whatever. Go for it, whatever you like. I'm a bit of a sucker for snow, so I'm showing snow. A nice easy one. Nothing to really think about that. Now this one, you might have to get your brain active. However, you're God. It's no problem to you. Which 3 musicians would you Frankenstein together to make a perfect musician, or to just make a completely different kind of musician that no one's heard before and be, oh, this is marvelous, this is fantastic. Now, I've been a bit playful with this, but have a think about it. Are there 3 guitarists who you think, oh, these 3, if they had this his characteristic here and his ability to do that and his or her ability to do this, put them all together and have this fantastic, superb, sublime, whatever. It could be a jazz sax player, whatever. This is what I've gone with. I've gone with the wit, the intelligence, the slight nuttiness, the eccentricity of someone like Syd Barrett. I'd mix it with the funk and soul and the vibe of Curtis Mayfield. And just for good measure, just to top it all off into making it this wonderful package, give them the sex appeal of Debbie Harry. I mean, oh. Okay, now then, it's the end of the world. Show a record by a male artist and a female artist who you would keep alive from the end of the world to entertain you in heaven forever. Who are you going to keep alive to entertain you in heaven forever? Now, the female one was easy. To me, it was a no-brainer straight away. Joni Mitchell all day long. She'd keep me entertained for eternity. No doubt about it. Just imagine. Oof. Oh dear. Absolutely amazing. Now the male was a much, much more difficult thing. I was thinking, David Bowie with his interesting arrangements, all these different things he could do if he had eternity. I thought Elvis, and you might get a little bit more kind of out there, imagine some of these incredible composers of the past. But I thought, wouldn't it be great? Someone who could keep you entertained. Lemmy. Lemmy could keep you entertained. So I'd save him at the end of the world. Another simple one. Simple-ish. Just show a record which depicts one of the 7 deadly sins. Now we've got lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath or anger, envy, pride. So I went for a fairly easy one, and it's obvious what we're talking about here. I mean, you might say it's gluttony. Right, and the final question, we have 2 questions left. Okay. Show a record. I say show, you may not actually have a record by it, but no, I think it's important that you show a record if you've got one. Which artist would you consign to hell for punishment for what they have done to the people of the earth? Which artist? It can be their whole catalogue can go with them. It can just be the artist, whatever. But who would you assign to hell and say, enough, that's it. You deserve all you get, mate. I had to show this guy because, you may not have a record by him because you might think, well, I don't have a record by that person. But you might have him on compilation or something. You may have, I don't know. If you've got a record by him, brilliant. I have this record just because you see it cheap. You think, well, someone will buy it off me. But this guy, all day long. What is it with him lately where people in the VC are going, oh, Elton John is marvellous, his early records. No, he's not. He has a hell of a lot to answer for. All right, and one final question. And because you're a benevolent God, because you're a God who loves to give, name one VC channel, and it cannot be yourself, who you would bestow 1 million subscribers on. So they could just sit back, do videos all day long, whatever they want to do, get all the income from it, show lots and lots of records. Who would you love to bless in that way? I personally was just going to go for myself. But I thought, no, the rule is it has to be someone else. So I'm going with Penge and Derek. That poor channel, they're suffering at 67 subscribers. They haven't made a video on that channel for a couple of months, and I think they deserve 1 million subscribers. They're geniuses and the best people in the VC. Right, there's the vinyl tag. Jump on board if you want to. The questions are down below.